Hello and welcome to another episode of Utopia Restorations. Please ignore the pigeon that's flying around in the back of me. Can't figure out how to get out of the workshop. But for those of you that don't know me, I'm Will. Today I'm going to be giving you an update on cars and what's happening here and a few other. So before we get into it, I'm going to get this one moved out and start loading it up with some bits and give me a bit more space so I can chat to you guys. And if you think the clothing I'm wearing is pretty cool, make sure you go check it out on utopiarestorations.shop. We've got this and loads of other designs. So, where to start? Well, I thought I'd do it in front of Aloy because the 109 is sort of where it started and almost where it ends. So, there's been a few changes, and as some of you who've been following us from the beginning know, you've been following me on social media and things, we've been a bit quiet on there recently. I've been trying to figure out things and plan things and figure out what we want to do for the future. So I will give a bigger update on that and what the plan is for Utopia as a whole. But I think let's do a bit of a garage update and show you what's going on there. So motorbike wise, let's start with that. The XR did go to its new home before we moved, which is great, and the owner of that is very much enjoying it. And then the XL since has left us. So I am down to one bike, which is the Boltaco, but you can see here there is another one. So actually I'm sort of at two at the moment. I'll explain that one in a minute. Some cars that have left. I feel like we've definitely thinned down, but you know when it's been a while and you can't really remember what sort of cars have been and what sort of cars have gone. So the 110 went to James at Mustangaholics and is enjoying that. After that, the Series 1 4x2 went to Safari Engineering, which is a great chat. We love Dave, so that's over there so I can visit it, potentially buy it back in the future, or if not, it's going to be sold and go off to a great home. The lightweight has gone and actually left us last week. That is going back into the military, which would be pretty cool. And as a result, I've got this, a very cool Moto Guzzi, or don't quote me on this one because it's not off the top of my head, but it's a Moto Guzzi 75 and built in 1983. Cool tanks on that and a very cool reg, which is quite personal to me, weirdly. So that's worked out quite well. So that one may be staying as a bit of a more long-term project, something to have. The E30 is for sale. We have not had an accepted offer on it yet. So it's currently up for grabs, so at the time of this video, if it's going out, drop me a message if you're interested. It's a project that's got about $2,500 worth of parts. If you chopped it off for bits and sold it, you could easily make that money back, and it's currently up for about $1.5 grand. Reason being, it takes up a lot of space, and I need it gone, because the second part we'll come on to. So Aloy, where we start and where we finish, not going anywhere. This is never leaving me. I refer to it as my coffin, because when I die, I probably will be taken to my funeral in it, provided it's still legal with petroleum. The other Land Rovers, so the lightweight's gone, this one's staying forever. The TD5 is sold. I do still currently have it, I will still be driving it and using it, but it is gone. So that will be leaving me. Again, going to a really good home, someone that I know, and I've got first refusal to buy it back in the future. And yeah, it's going to, well, I won't tell you yet, I'll let you find out, but it's going to be made in something really cool, and I'm quite looking forward to it. So that's outside, it's just about to be loaded up with some parts. So I've been thinking, and I've been doing some YouTube, been doing some more merch, been working on our cars, and I've sort of come to the realization that it's time for a bit of a change. And I've really been enjoying the workshop and enjoying this space, but essentially for the business, it isn't obtainable going forward. So having this level of rent, although this is really well priced, and as you know, we've put a lot of effort and work making something more usable, but unfortunately that cost is really hammering away at me. And as you do know, I've got a full-time job, so that can support this as well, but it's just got to the point that it's all sort of a bit too much of paying everything just for storage or just for a space to be. So what's happening? Well, I've been thinking recently, and the cost that we're fighting, as you know, we've moved out of our last place to try and save costs. We sort of came here to be a bit of a finish projects like the E30, get things done, or maybe the lightweight and get that done and sold. But the amount of time sort of spent renovating it, also I've enjoyed it, has then eaten away into our costs for it and budgets for other things. So I've sort of decided that it is time to no longer have a physical space. We are moving out of here at the end of the month, hence why the E30 needs to go. I do have a space for this, and I do have a space for some of the other cars. There is another side to this, so the actual workshop will be going, and so will the business. So we will no longer be Utopia Restorations. We'll be changing to Utopia 22. And as part of that sort of reband or bit of an alteration, is sort of a bit of an illustration of my mentality. I love old cars, I love working on them, I love looking at them, but I've sort of decided I'm a bit bored of rusty and working on rusty old. And there is definitely a market for restorations, but being a restorer on your own is pretty hard with deadlines, with costs, with budgeting, with everything like that. And for me personally at the moment, the sort of return isn't there. So what I've decided to do is we're closing the business, we're closing Utopia Restorations. We will be coming back as Utopia 22, and this is focusing on our clothing and our YouTube. So you fans, as always, if you are enjoying the content, please make sure you like and subscribe. It massively helps us out. And Utopia 22 will be what we sort of tried to be previously, but in a more enhanced level and something I can focus on a bit more. We'll be the home of classic and automotive, doing adventures, road trips, all our clothing, all our YouTube, and just getting back out there and enjoying cars. So we've still got some old cars that we hang around, like this one and the 67 Mustang. That will still be projects we'll be documenting. We'll be doing a lot more clothing. We hope to do some events and partner with other people and other people that have got physical locations, maybe do some meets in the future. But it will sort of be moving back to a bit more of a social media business as opposed to as it is at the moment, for a bit more of a physical business. So I think personally, that's quite like exciting, but it's sort of bittersweet. You know, I've worked really hard over this in the last 4 years, having the physical business, having a physical space, but it's not been the easiest. And I know a lot of people that have been sort of in this startup period after COVID maybe found it a bit harder than say the ones that have got a bit more of a legacy. That does mean that having a physical space is not off the cards. Essentially, the long-term plan is in the next 5 to 10 years, be working on this and growing Utopia 22, as well as growing my own personal finances and other businesses I want to work on to eventually get back to a permanent place that I own myself. I'm not paying rent towards it, even if it is mortgage costs or whatever, but somewhere that is physically ours, that we can have and we know is secure, can make it into anything. So that's quite exciting for the future, but of course there's a bit of a way off, so there's not too much detail on that. But yes, a bit bittersweet. Losing this space, losing some of the cars that I've worked towards, but equally, there is another side to it. You know me, I'm maybe quite impulsive, maybe do things that maybe aren't as logical as they would seem to other people. And on that note, there will be a video next week showing it, and it will be revealed on Instagram. Because I'm getting rid of a lot of cars, I needed to get one car that would be an all-rounder for something that's practical and something that's interesting. And yeah, I've got one of my dream cars, or if not the dream car. So that will be revealed next week, which is really, really exciting. And mainly, I just want to say thank you. Thank you everyone for your support, for buying merch, for liking, subscribing. We've now got 10,000 of you across 2 platforms, which is amazing. But hopefully you're going to grow that much more. And it's just been wonderful. I thank you very much for your support. It's been great over the years and has kept us going. We hope to make it better in the future and build it. So this is the end for Utopia Restorations and working on classic cars, working on other people's. However, mine will still stand, like this one and the 67, the new cars we have bringing in. Hope to do a bit more modern content, have a bit more road trips and things like that, and of course work on the merch, as I've mentioned. So yeah, thank you for supporting us along the journey. This is sort of bittersweet. It's been quite hard to come to the realization to let this go. You know, there's a lot of work's been gone into it for the space here, for the previous space, for the financing, for running things, for everything we've done is a lot of effort to do on your own alongside a full-time job, and I've really enjoyed it. And quite honestly, without it, I wouldn't be at the place where I am, where I've now purchased my dream car, which was this one that started the journey, was one of my dream cars. We then got the 67, which is pretty up there in terms of dream car. When that's finished, it will be an absolute beauty. That will be a keeper. Sad to see the TD5 go, and sad to see the E30 go and didn't reach its full potential. But I do think the new car that tops it is the best one, and I have stuck to my word. It is green. So you read into that as to what you will. It's not a Land Rover though, unfortunately. So thank you very much for this one. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like and comment. If you do have any more questions, drop me a message on Instagram, or if you do want to collaborate on our merch, we've got loads of new lines releasing. We've just done one with GWAC John, which is all Discovery and Camel Trophy based. We have a few lines coming out with a few restorers. So yes, you will see Utopia Restorations go, but you will see the beginning of Utopia 22, which will be something different and part of the car community. And meaning I will be getting out there more and doing a lot more car meets. So this weekend I'm going to Southside Hustle in the new car, which will be great fun. Something I've been meaning to go to for ages. We're going to more Bicester Heritage, Revival, possibly Festival Speed, all sorts. Actually getting out there and enjoying the community and building it back up on Instagram. I know in part I have failed you maybe with some of our community engagement and it maybe being a bit too corporate. So hopefully I want to bring that back and chat to a lot more of you guys on Instagram and build a community of automotive lovers, from Land Rovers to classics to modern things to American to bikes to everything. And yeah, thank you very much so far, and we'll catch you next week in the next video where I reveal my brand new dream car, which is not a Land Rover, but it's green. The only other bit I'll tell you is it's got a V8. See you, bye.